Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Thursday, January 10th, 2019. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. As someone who's done more than my fair share of traveling, I can speak from experience when I say that having your plane hit the runway going just a little bit too fast might be one of the scariest things on the planet. Because for a split second, you see your life flash before your eyes. And with less than 2 months to go now, before she comes crashing into Columbus, Ohio, Nadia Wyatt is already striking fear into the hearts of the figure division. I guess spending her off-season breaking powerlifting records wasn't enough, because at the moment it feels like she's trying to make another mark on history. And if there's one thing we know about Nadia Wyatt, it's that when she sets her mind to do something, from that point on, there's no stopping her. The dumbbell incline press is one of the rawest and most primal lifts in the gym. And apparently Joe Mackey wholeheartedly agrees with that statement, because earlier this week we saw the big man making 160-pound dumbbells for reps look about as easy as you've ever seen. After watching this stuff over and over again from Mackey and his team now, it's pretty clear that he's just one of those insanely strong Texas guys cut from the same Ronnie Coleman cloth. But if this is a precursor for what he's got in store for us this year, 2019 could end up being one hell of a season for Joe Mackey. Believe it or not, the first muscle building book I ever read as a kid was called Super Squats. It promised me I would gain 30 pounds of muscle in 6 weeks, as long as I did sets of heavy 20-rep squats and drank a gallon of milk every day. And it looks like soon-to-be rookie sensation Blessing Awodibu might be trying to put the old super squat method to the test. A few days ago, the boogeyman was spotted knocking out a few sets of 405 for 20 as he continues his march forward towards his pro debut. After running into him out at the Muscle Dubai show, let me be the first to tell you that you can't overstate how thick this guy actually is when you see him in person. So if he can figure things out on a conditioning end, he'll be an intriguing prospect to watch as we move through the year. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to create new habits is trying to do too many things at once. It never works. You have to focus your energy on one or two things and make sure you're doing them really, really well, as consistently as possible. Sort of like what Patrick Moore is doing with his off-season program. A few days ago, we saw a new clip emerge from the Moore camp that showed him putting in a little bit of sweat equity bright and early on another fine January morning. For a guy his size, Moore's always jumped out at me as someone who had great shape and symmetry. So if he can put on the quality muscle in the right places, he can make some serious noise in the right lineup. I'm not sure if 4 times the charm is a thing that people actually say or not. But if I were fitness star Missy Ferrell, I think I'd be trying to get that hashtag trending right about now. Since she got the news that she was heading back to the Fitness International stage for the 4th straight time, Ferrell and her team have taken things up to an entirely different level, as the 3-time pro champ tries to add another signature win to her resume. Personally, I thought Ferrell was one of the most interesting athletes in the division last year, and I think a home run performance here at the Arnold would go a long way towards putting her in the driver's seat for the rest of her 2019 campaign. To quote the modern-day philosopher Drake, I used to pray for the days when my idols became my rivals. And when Derek Lunsford, one of the best 212 athletes on the planet, asks you if you're moving out of the classic physique division, you know you're probably doing something right. Over the last few weeks, we've seen a handful of new updates from the perennial Olympia threat, Terence Ruffin, who's allegedly got himself floating around somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 pounds these days. I don't know a single fan of the division who isn't in love with everything Rough Diesel brings to the table, but a few more pounds of quality muscle might be just what the doctor ordered to help him bump up some of those bigger guys down a few notches and raise his stock through the roof. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And happy 3rd birthday to my son Logan.